Oh, trees of life, when does your winter come? We are not attuned, not at one. We lack the instinct of migrant birds. Late we get left standing. Abruptly we launch ourselves into the wind, only to go plummeting down into water that does not care for us. At once we feel ourselves both wither and flower. Somewhere else, lions roam unaware of any weakness in their majesty. But for us, as we focus on one thing, already we feel the pull of another. Conflict is always our companion. Even those in love, are they not always confronting each other's limits, though promised space, good hunting, a home? It's as if, in a quick sketch, all the effort had gone to prepare a background that allows us to see precisely, and yet still we cannot grasp the real contour of our feelings, and we know only the pressures that shape us from outside. Who has not sat before his own heart's curtain anxiously? It rises, the stage set for a scene of parting that is simple enough to understand, with the garden, so familiar, wavering a little. Enter a dancer. Oh no, not him. Enough. No matter how gracefully he moves, nothing disguises the fact that it is some bourgeois who gains access to his apartment through a kitchen. I cannot bear these half-filled human masks. Better have puppets. At least it is full. I can put up with a puppet's stuffed limbs, wires, the appearance of a face. Here, I'm waiting. Even if the lights black out, or if one shouts, "That's Charlotte!" And even if emptiness drifts like a grisly draught towards me off stage, even if none of my tight-lipped ancestors will sit beside me, no, not one of the women, even the boy with his squinting brown eye, I'll stay away. I can always watch this. Am I not right? Father, you knew it well, how life tasted bitter after you had taken a sip of me, first turbid dose of what had to be done. As I grew, you kept on drinking, became troubled at the aftertaste of so strange a future, and searched out others in my clouded gaze. You, who so often since you died, have grown more anxious for my well-being, or so I feel. In the depths of hope, giving up the serenity of the dead, that serene realm that each take possession of, given up for the scrap of my life? And am I right, all you others? Am I not, you who loved me from the small beginnings of my love for you, which I always turned aside from because the space in your look I fell in love with grew more like outer space, where you seemed no more to exist for me? Am I not right to feel that I must remain sitting before this puppet show? Indeed, to stare at it so intently, in the end, and in the answer to my gaze an angel comes, a player, to shake life into these stuffed dolls. Angel and puppet, then at last a real drama worth my watching. Then all that we divide simply by being here can come together. Our fluid seasons can take their place in the far greater cycle of change, and the angel plays on above as beyond. If no one else, should not the dying perceive the unreality, how full of pretense is everything that we do here, how nothing is really itself? Oh, the hours of childhood, when we stood behind its figures, was more than past, and what spread before us was not the future. Of course, we knew we were growing. Even then we felt impatient at times to be fully grown, half for the sake of those who had nothing to show but that they had grown. Yet, left to ourselves, we found happiness in what did not change, and we lived then in the interval between the world and our toys, in a place that from the beginning had been prepared for this pure event. Who shows a child for what he really is? Who sets him in the stars and thrusts a rule in his hand to measure the distance of separation? Who creates death for a child from grey bread which hardens, or who leaves it in his round mouth like the core of a sweet apple? Murderers are easy to understand, but this, to be so possessed by death, the whole of death, even before life has really begun, to take in the fact, but gently, so as not to refuse in anger, is unspeakable.